And listen, I don't blame Chad if he don't want to get married after this because Sherelle lost her top with this. So in this episode, they sat down with their attorneys to talk about their prenuptial agreement, and Sherelle, she want $3 million a year for him to pay in alimony.
First is trying to contract to lump sum alimony up front. Yeah.
How much are we talking about here?
Well, Sherelle is proposing $3 million a year.
$3 million a year.
That you will pay on your wedding anniversary every year.
So then he countered for 15K a month.
I don't like that. And we would definitely have to counter.
So what is the alimony number you're proposing?
In my opinion, with your lifestyle, we're looking at $15,000
a month.
A month.
Absolutely not a year.
And the crazy thing is, at times, Sherelle makes more money than Chad, but Chad didn't go to the millions. He said he wanted 15K a month, which is like, what, 180 a year. That's less than 6% of what she was asking for. But Chad said, you know what? We leave what we came here with. So the alimony was waived. And you would think the conversation would be over with, but nope. Sherelle says she wants 25% of his podcast with Shannon Sharp.
Now, that's not fair about the podcast, man. That's all him.
A certain asset that might be highly contentious for you, which is your podcast.
That's non-negotiable. The podcast is not going to be touched. The podcast is something that he's grown on his own with his business partners.
And I'm part of the business partner.
But it's Chad's podcast.
You are not contractually signed to us at all.
Then Chad was like, okay, then I want 25% of your business.
The client wants a percentage of your business.
No, that's definitely not what can happen.
Why not?
The business was there before we got together.
So I didn't help at all with your business?
No, you helped
I didn't help
after.
at all?
You didn't help create it. No, you did not.
We're not getting married if it's 1%, and I'll speak for Cheryl on that.
That's fucking ridiculous. 1%.
Well, it sounds like that might push back your wedding date. That's
But wait, there's more. There's an infidelity clause.
an issue we haven't brought up, and I think it's an infidelity clause. It's standard in prenups. So if you were to cheat, it'd be $500,000 penalty to you.
This makes no sense.
Why?
Because this basically tells me she's really not ready to get married. She's not ready to get married.
Now we know the real reason why Chad ain't gonna agree to that because he know he gonna slip up. But I do think it should go both ways. I do agree with that, but it should go both ways. But I want to hear from y'all. Who y'all think was wrong? Who's right? Do y'all?
She wants that man's soul.
Yeah, man. Like, he just wants to drain him. I mean, let's be honest. Look, she got money. He has money. Obviously, one has more money than the other, but they're well into the 1% of people. If we're going to keep it a buck, they're in the 1% of people. At this point, what she essentially wants is her pound of flesh. Let's be very clear, and when you get into that kind of situation, negotiating for how the relationship dynamic is in terms of like a infidelity clause, if you know you're not the type of man to keep your shit in your pants, bro, you have no business. You have no business not trying to sign prenup and put things in place because, like, you're just too weak for it. I think the last point I would say is that if you can't already have these things ironed out, talked about prior to having your lawyers come to the table, then that means you guys haven't fully vetted and have every conversation. Those are just the important conversations that they care about. Wait until the stuff that they haven't talked about reveals and comes to the surface. How you go?
So they're not married yet? This is just the talks for the prenup.
She trying to set him up for the jokes.
Yeah. They shouldn't even be doing this on TV.
Well, this is a show. It's called Wags to Riches.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This shouldn't even be done on television because at this point it's for sure, and 9 out of 10 is going to end up dissolving.
Go ahead, Ty.
Like this entire thing is just ridiculous. Like Luis was saying, they are the 1%, right? This is not something that regular people come into contact with and sit down and have conversations about. The fact that they even had their lawyer sitting there and going back and forth over dinner just shows how unsolid or not real their relationship is to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, what real relationship do you guys even have where she's asking for $3 million a year just for being married to you? She wanted alimony up front, which means she already knows it's not going to last. It's not going to last. I want all my money up front so I don't have to worry about it. The only part of that full prenup that I did agree with was the infidelity clause. And Chad instantly was out then because he knows he's going to cheat. Luis was saying if a man knows he's going to cheat, then that's probably why he should go ahead and get the prenup and iron all of that out. When my whole take is, if you know you're going to cheat from the beginning, don't get married. What are you marrying her for? You could just keep dating her and dating everybody else that you want to date because she's going to stick around just to get the clout from you. Clearly, that's all she's really going after because she wants 25% of a podcast that she's not a part of. She has a full business that was a show before they even got on this show. And her being with Chad helped boost that even more. So she's getting benefits from him. Chad really doesn't get a lot of benefits from her, but she wants all of his money up front. I don't even understand why they're having this conversation. It doesn't make sense. And this is what I mean by people seeing those red flags before they decide to marry these people, and they do it anyway. It doesn't make sense.
Go ahead, Ashley.
I actually watched the show. I watched her other show before that. A lot of her, I guess a lot of her demands come from her. She said she was married twice before, I believe. And the 2 times she was married, she said that she was left broke, right? And with kids, and she was left with nothing. So I guess that is where her demand is coming from her history. She was also, like, during her confessions and stuff, she was kind of speaking on her fear of not being able to provide. And then she was also speaking about, I think Chad has like 6 or 7 kids. So she wanted to protect her assets, right? She was like, normally, if they're married, the baby moms normally would come after the wife as well. So I agree with some of the things she said, but at the same time, I do think she was being a little bit selfish when it came to him saying like he wanted some portion of her business, because he did put her in spaces where she wasn't getting into without him, like without, the property, the people, whatever, like the multimillionaires, the investors and stuff. So I think they both contribute to each other getting more wealth. Like he contributes to her, she contributes to him, because he brought her in those spaces, but she's getting the money, and right now she's making more money than him. So right now she's the breadwinner. I don't know, I just think that, like I said, I think she is acting out of a place of fear, right? She's like, oh, I was divorced 2 times and I was completely broke. These men, left me broke or whatever, and I don't want to do that again. So I get that, but at the same time, she's being a little bit selfish. You know what I'm saying?
Ash, I just have to say, I don't agree. Why am I? I don't agree with her being left broke after being with her 2 ex-husbands, because she had a full real estate business before Chad came into the picture. Now, Chad did elevate her business, but she already had it. So our perception of what broke is, and what she is seeing as broke, is a lifestyle, right? Now that she's with Chad, she's getting introduced to this extremely high lifestyle. He's introducing her to all these other millionaires and billionaires, and she wants to hold on to that. She will never be broke.